to everyone. It's Ada from Posendrock. Today we give a welcome back after 1 year, getting older, to Jonas. I don't want to say just Jonas from Nebala, but just let's say Jonas. It's easier. People know you. How is it going, Jonas?
It's good. I'm really good. Yeah, I'm in the studio right now. I don't know if you can hear some stuff in the background, people making coffee and all that. We're getting ready to um,
Yeah,
mix and get stuff ready for the new album. And so yeah, I'm really excited. These days are
yeah.
lots of stuff is happening with Nebala and
Yeah, because it's
it's
intense.
intense and cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course, Nebala, just to make it clear at the beginning, is being mainly your own project.
Mhm.
Just might not make people confused. It's your own project, and it has a meaning for you because, of course, like your path, that you want to share, with the world. And this time, so just so we
Sure.
break the ice, there is two people joining, two new music artists that bring new
Yes.
influences as well. So I want to start, let you the word to introduce this musician. That one is well known, and one is good. The people that know as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very, very true. They are both on the opposite ends, you could say, of the spectrum. Of course, I'm working right now, as I said, where I'm sitting in the Lava Studios, which is Christopher Yule from Heilung's studio, where all the Heilung stuff has been recorded. Garmana has recorded here. Myrkur has recorded here. A lot of really great artists, and Christopher and I go way back, and we've known each other since I think we were 18 or something like that.
Okay, no time.
Yeah, a very long time, especially now, because as you say, we're older. So it's
Yeah,
yeah,
we're older. Yeah.
I've known Christopher for 22 years, so
That's-
people can do the math. Um, and yeah, we used to work a lot together previously, of course, and then we worked together, of course, in Heilung, and then I left Heilung to go to pursue my own things, and here I am coming full circle and working with him again. So that's really lovely. And more later, we can get a little bit more into the creative process because it's such an interesting thing about how the sort of like creative sausage is made with these kind of projects such as this because um, I at some point had to make a choice where I was like, okay, I can wait longer to try to figure things out in the old model that I had with Nebala, but
Yeah.
I all of a sudden felt that I needed to kind of rethink Nebala in a way or restart it almost in a way. Of course, it's not really a restart
Oh, of
because we
course.
did make a first album, which I'm really proud about and proud of, and some really good shows that we played, which I'm really proud of as well. But I needed sort of a fresh new approach. And then at Midgard's Bloat in 23, I
Yeah.
met one of our common friends, Gilli Prati, as you know.
Yeah.
I met him around the fire. He was playing with the guys called Clanargantia, who are the guys who at least for 2 years were facilitating the fire at
Yeah.
Midgårdsblod and were making everyone bounce up
Gathering.
and down
Yeah.
and drum and go crazy around the fire at Midgårdsblod. And Gilly and I would just kind of hit it off really quickly and Gilly is, for someone like me who is a composer, Gilly is such a gift to work with because he plays
Oh,
every instrument you can
yeah.
possibly imagine.
It's really talented. Yeah.
So, it didn't matter whether we wanted a violin part or a flute part or
But,
different types of drum parts. Gilly was just there to fill out that space. And it's a really fun time. It's a difficult time because we were just him and I in a
yeah.
studio, and neither him nor I are producers or
Okay.
studio
Okay. Okay.
people. We're musicians. So we recorded everything. We recorded everything very, very raw
Okay.
versions of the
So
songs.
already you start to record to putting out what will be
What would
yeah.
Yes, but that's the interesting part, right? Because
I,
then we have had that space together where we spent
okay.
10 days just recording tons of ideas, and now all these different ideas, I've brought them to Christopher, And now they're gaining a new life and taking new pathways that I hadn't even imagined, and so on. So
You
yeah.
had this idea, and how Christopher got involved with that? Because it's like I said, it's like you thought, okay, I know him, I can send that to him, or he reach out to you because, of course, or just you put out on the stream and say whoever wants can do it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that at all. Actually, the thing that happened was that Binors, which is the label that I have been on with the first album, actually had said yes, that they wanted to support the next album, or they not support, but they wanted to put out the next album. And so we got started on that process, and we got sort of halfway into that process, and Gilly and I recording and everything, and then they pulled the plug on it. And that sounds very harsh. It sounds like something crazy happened, but and I won't get into the details, but nothing crazy happened. I mean, we had a long conversation about it, me and the label bosses, and we were like, okay, fine. We decided to go our separate ways. And then I was all of a sudden in a situation where I had to think in a new way of how to create this. And I was like, okay. And Christopher and I had been hanging out a bit at that time, and I was like, yeah, why don't I ask Christopher? It seems like there's been a lot of time gone by now. Maybe this is the right time. And it just turned out that he was in a situation where he was able to accommodate that, and was excited about working together again. So it kind of feels like a full circle kind of thing as well, after having left Heilung, and then now we're working together again, and it
can be
really
part of the rite of passages too, no?
Exactly. It's the album's own little rite of passage here. Exactly. Of course, if you make an album about rite of passage and you expect everything to go smooth, I mean, then I think you're pretty stupid. It's obviously not going to go smooth.
Nothing goes smooth, never. So it's always a passage, a rite of passage.
It is indeed.
So, and that's how so now at the moment you started to record what you had previously with Gilly, and but amplifying what you wrote. So you're adding new material on what you previously.
Of course, yes, and rearranging things and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because
to make a whole album, right? To make one cohesive kind of expression. Yeah.
Yeah, because what is important as well to highlight is that you started exactly, what is that, a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, a Kickstarter?
Yes, it's little over 3 weeks ago now. We're in the last week of the Kickstarter. Yeah.
And already went immediately good. I mean, you see already how much people supported Nebala previously and supported Nebala now. Mm-hmm. And it's important to that, because it's not only, and I leave you to explain that better, you gave not only the opportunity to be part of something, but as well to have kind of access to early things. That is well something good, because being from Italy, is important to know. I saw singing lesson from Ilaria.
Yes.
It's a really nice thing to do. So I leave you to word about that.
Someone just bought one today, right before we yeah.
That's good. And I saw that a lot of people did the found it, and it's helpful, because it's like you're kind of gathering people, creating a small community.
Exactly.
This is the beauty, and it is also a rite of passage too. So it is. I mean, you choose the right.
The Kickstarter, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Kickstarter itself is a rite of passage, because you could say, when you decide as an artist to say, okay, I'm going to do a Kickstarter, I'm going to invite people to come in and actually, in some sense, take some ownership. Like, so everyone who backs this will, in some sense, be now part of the extended Nebala family.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? They will know that their contribution made this possible to make this album. And there's something very vulnerable for me as an artist, of course, to do that, but also so beautiful, right? I mean, nothing good comes without some sacrifice, without, opening yourself up and saying, hey, letting things in,
Yeah, because it's not like you're saying, oh, I need your, like, please help. Instead, you're just sharing your work and say, let's be all part of this. It's all be part
exactly.
of it. And like you said, it's everyone that helped and joined, they can feel that when you release the album, you put out the album live, you're gonna perform live, they will feel that what you're performing, all of your they made it possible.
Yes, exactly. And that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to meet all the backers out there when we play live and so on, and give them a really good big hug.
A meet and greet.
Exactly.
This is the thing that you should do, not only maybe the beginning for them and also for other people, because the other people will be like, maybe if we couldn't, we want to, but like that's I think a good nice idea. Really meet and greet for all, or a party just for all the people involved in the Kickstarter.
So yeah, that's gonna be some updates really, really soon for all the backers, exactly relating to things like that. Also relating to how I'm going to share very exclusive behind the scenes stuff about how we made things and so on, which only will be available for the backers. So this is not going to come out anywhere.
So this is going to start, for example, then you need, after the Kickstarter ends, you're going to share more information about, with the people involved. So, okay, so for the people that are not in the circle, I'm sorry, but they are still in time, because the exact date of ending the Kickstarter, when is it, John? Yes.
Oh, it's on the 30th. It's in six days. So yeah, on the 30th.
November.
In 6 days, yeah.
Okay, yes. And after that, of course, you're already recording. There is of course, do you have any kind of idea when or if you have an idea when you want to release the album? Around.
Yes. So I'm thinking the album is going to be released around May, probably next year.
Okay. So let's say in a kind of spring, late spring.
Yeah. Exactly. Late spring, and of course the ones that have backed the album and so on will receive the music and all the different things before, so they're gonna get like special treatment there as well.
Don't share it. Be careful.
They will be there's a clause in there that they will be shot if they share it before.
Okay.
So. But you can't help that. But I don't think people would do that. Why would they do that? It's exclusive for themselves. No. Why would they?
No,
why would they ruin that?
No, because they participated.
I trust them.
They participated in a special way, and I don't think that people participate in a Kickstarter they want to share, because they're gonna say, no, you have to do that. I did it by myself. I've been part of the Kickstarter. If you want to, they have to join. But that's good, because in May you will have the chance as well, kind of, to perform the album. You think about some live performance, how you want to set up the future live show. Of course, I think you're gonna be gilling it.
Obviously, yeah. That is at this point as much as I can say with any kind of certainty.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's part behind the instrumental now until. So for the moment, let's say that it's just gonna be in the live show, you and Gilly at the moment.
At the moment, that's all I can let's say that's all I can divulge, because that's all I can say, because these things are still being figured out. The main thing right now for me, we have one show right now which is confirmed in June in England. It's called the Soulskins Festival.
Yeah, I know it.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one that's confirmed. That will be with a small setup. Again, that's all I can say. But I'm working on that as well, of course, in my mind, in the background. It's always like when I hear the music, okay, how can we do that live, and how can we do that live? But
Scorpio mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's a lot. But of course, I need to come out and play this live. Obviously, yeah.
Yes, of course. But the main, the core, of course, it's we mentioned RITE of Passages. And like as the name is joking, but is the real title of the album? And that
is the title,
the previous album, which is beautiful, and it goes as well like kind of a let's say an exploring and a passages in different aspects, the sexual aspect of life, which is always, like I said, is an exploration, is a rite of passage too, but in a specific topic. This one is more, it's really about life. So
Mhm.
how did you overcome to this title? And because it's a deep and long and too much diverse topic, because you put
I
the
know.
culture in it. So
Yeah, it's
that's where you
yeah.
added this.
No, you're absolutely right. And you're touching on something which is very relevant because when I first had the idea to create Nebala, or the idea of Nebala came to me, if you could say, because that's usually how things actually happen. It kind of comes as a thing in you. All of a sudden, you're like, "Whoa, wait, that's a
Yeah.
possibility," kind of thing. My idea was actually to start with writing the Rites of Passage album. That was actually my original idea.
Okay, it was there at the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was there at the very beginning, and my feeling was there that this is too big a project, too big a topic to just do really quickly because I wanted to just get started. I just wanted to get something out
Yeah, to
there,
put Nebala
and
out.
that's why I settled on the sacred sexuality bit because it was more of a singular topic,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
more yeah, I could focus more, and that would give me more time to research everything
Yeah.
I needed to research about the what I already knew was going to be the
So
second album.
you were
To go
doing the
to this
first
one.
album, and at the same time you were already making the research for the second. For that
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been researching on this topic of rites of passage, of the Jungian psychology with
yeah, I read
the
that and I really like that.
eternal
Yeah.
child. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I read because Jung is like one of the father of the modern psychologists, and he also in the because about the eternal child, he just have two different, there is the positive aspect and the negative aspect of the eternal child
sure,
in that psychology,
sure.
yes. And
No, of course, yes.
this is beautiful because if you can put that and not escaping, not watching only the beautiful aspect of the eternal child, but also embracing the dark, the let's say the dark side of the eternal child.
You know what is a really good story to reference
Okay.
in relationship to the eternal child is the story of Peter Pan.
Yeah, Peter Pan. Yes, Peter
Have
Pan.
you have you have you read the original Peter Pan?
No, no. I more read like
Really,
there is a Greek, let's say, story about the eternal child that is referred
yes,
to in the Jungian
yeah.
psychology. But no, but I
Hmm.
know about the Peter Pan philosophy about that that take inspiration. But no, I never read that original book.
Really, I could recommend everyone to read that book.
Yeah,
It's an incredible, incredible, what do you call it, masterpiece because it really does show. Because Peter Pan is this, he is this, he's a double-sided character, exactly like
okay.
what we just talked about, the positive and negative aspect of
Yeah,
the eternal child.
yeah, of course.
Because because when you're around Peter Pan, you're having fun.
Yeah,
It's there's always something happen. He's pure creativity, right? He's always coming up with ideas. It's
yeah,
always fun. However,
playful. Yeah,
if anything goes just a tiny bit against his way, he becomes angry. Actually becomes kind of murderous. He's scary. In the book, he is a scary, scary creature. Whenever he gets slighted just a tiny bit,
kid.
he
Yeah,
becomes this monstrous character. And the idea of the eternal child also is a kind of modern critique of modern society because
yes,
we in our modern society have lost connection with the cardinal points in life. We don't celebrate them in the same way that
no,
we used to do.
no,
And I'm not someone who advocates like, oh, we should all go back to a time where everything was greater.
no.
But what I do advocate is to look back and to see what we might have forgotten along the way,
Yes,
and
indeed.
which kind of babies were thrown out with the bathwater in the pursuit of modernity. So so I think rites of passage is a very, very interesting place to start because
Yeah,
when you don't celebrate these different cardinal points, you don't actually really get to have a space to go like, whoa, okay, now I'm at this stage in life. What does that require of me? What does it
yeah,
require of me to be a part of society? What does it require of me to be a good lover, a good husband? What does
yeah.
it require of me to be a good father, a good parent? what does it require of me to be a good old wise person that can give back to the young generation?
And also good, I don't know, even when you, because something that I always, maybe it's, we forget is, I don't know, in ancient culture, like ancient, still today does it. For example, in the Inuit culture, they used to celebrate a woman, you know, like a girl with a, you know, with a tree line in the face when she was, I don't know, becoming a woman with the first menstrual period.
Yes,
when
yes.
she was becoming a woman as she was getting older. That's more like a graphical way to see it, because in their culture that's a way, and they still keep it because that people, they have this, the culture stick with them, because those, you know, are native culture that still today have. We forgot that. So even if you're like, for as a woman, as a man, it's the same as a young boy, as young girl growing up, there are these stages that now, especially the new teenager, they don't have it. They skip completely. They go from being teenager to being adult. And I think if you remember, when we were kids, we were like being 14 and we were thinking still maybe 12 in our head.
Yes. If that even, you know, maybe even younger. Yeah.
Now is the opposite. Now is too much fast. Everything is fast. Too fast. So that's important. Like you said, as being like a face of an husband, a wife, wise man, wise woman, but also especially because always when music is put out, it's the youngest people that you can impact with your music. I would, even as a parent listening to, I don't know, your coming album, I would focus more to be sure that my kids has the right life, because if you skip those, you don't have them back. And this is a really, and especially in psychology, when you're like a sponge, when you get them more from the outside, so you should leave more, not because there's no right way, but in the most pure way, at least
in the most conscious way, I would say.
Exactly, yes.
And I think you as a woman can speak to this a little bit as well, because you touched upon the first period of a woman, right? Because I think a lot of times what we forget, because women have these natural things in their body which gives them a natural rite of passage, right?
Yes.
So the first one would be the first period, and the second one, of course, is the child. The giving birth is a rite of passage as well, in a very big and deep way, you know.
Yes.
And I think you as a woman can speak to this, because yes, it's true, women do get their period and that's a rite of passage, but how many women can say today that when they got their first period, that there was a community of women around them that told them, oh, okay, now you have this great power within you. Now you're a woman. Now you can make, and what amazing thing that is, and so on. Most women, I guess, they got like, oh, God damn it, now you got your period. Now we have to deal with that, or something like that, right?
There's no celebration about it. I mean, you don't have to make a feast, but at least acknowledge that it's in the also, not if for me it's in a spiritual way, it's important, because every time you have it, it's like you are connecting with yourself and your feminine part, because that's an important, but even in a scientific point of view, if you want to see it, it's meaning that your body is working, it's healthy, because that's the genealogy for the most, let's say, cynic people, let's say the most practical rational mind. But in general, in this historical life of a woman, it's when you have your first period, I mean, many times it's like, okay, you have a period, okay, here you are, that's it. And a kid doesn't start to be, you know, like, okay, what I should do. Maybe they start to feel even uncomfortable. They don't know what to do. They feel
embarrassed, or yes,
which is completely to be the opposite. You should be happy. You should be, because the only moment when you start to be happy, when you have that, especially as a woman, when you got something bad happen to you, like I don't know, I don't know, cyst or something that happened to me. You got through surgery. When you have your period back, you celebrate every month, because I love it. It's the best moment of the month. So you're right. We as a women have this, that we should more, at least as a first period, but like I said, as well, the last, remembering the last, but not let's say that, because many women said, without a period, I don't feel a woman. It's that is not completely true, because people, when they go in women in the phase of the premenopause and the menopause, which is one of the big really rite of passages in the
Oh yeah,
yeah
that's another natural one. Yeah, correct.
and
Yeah,
they started
of
to
course.
say, okay, I have this is the last period, I'm not being a woman anymore. They lose their own feminine, they lose their even in the sexuality they lose this so I would suggest to focus, especially for women, listen to the album, but as well listen into the live
Mm,
more. And I would love that would be, like therapist or counselor talking about that, especially for the
yes.
beginning and the end. Because
Hmm.
when you approach to the last cycle, menstrual cycle, you feel like, okay, I'm starting to be, decomposing almost, which is not true. It's not true.
Not
And
true at all.
we see beautiful women when they're in the 70s, 80s, 90s,
Absolutely.
even younger than me look like. So some of them, and it's just a phase of life, a rite of passages.
Exactly. It's a rite of passage, and
Yeah.
it's the rite of passage into the old wise woman, right?
Yeah.
That can still hold a lot of sexual power. I mean, I have
Yeah.
met women in their 60s that have such incredible sexual power still,
I know to
even
think, yeah.
even if they're lovely. Oh, look, I just got a little marzipan nougat thing from Christopher. Thank you. Mm. Mm. Christmas, Danish
Rite of
Christmas candy.
passage. Yeah, this is everything.
Mm.
It's a rite of passage. It's lunchtime for people that don't know that.
Mm.
So, so yeah, it's
No,
a
but yeah, I agree. Mm.
yeah, but as I think as well, not only as a woman, because otherwise people maybe think that they're gonna listen to the album and say, oh, but it's an album about the feminine side. No, it's the same thing applied to the man, because you live
It's
it in
both.
a different way. Of course, it's
Absolutely.
it's a different way, it's a different point of view, but marked as well is an important event because a man as a always being a singer, like the, let's say, quote unquote, the strongest figure, and a lot of in his in the man, yes, in his own shoulders, like taking care of
Hmm.
the family. How there's a lot, but this is created by the society always. So there's a lot of rite of passage that even
Absolutely.
sometimes some kids, some young guys, they don't recognize, and maybe they forget. I really found it interesting is that you don't only explore and get closer with the inner spirituality, nor the spirituality, but as well like the early Christian.
Hmm.
So of course, how first what bring you to explore the early Christian spirituality, because it's not something that many people explore in music scene. At least they don't do Christian rock
Definitely. I mean, no, yeah, of course, unless it's like Christian rock, like
or
DC Talk.
choir. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, no, you're absolutely right. And I know also that in a lot of circles, whether they be sort of slightly hippie or whether they be black metal or people who like the dark folk music from
Yeah.
Scandinavia and Nordic countries and so on and indigenous stuff and so on. They are kind of like whenever you mention Christianity, this one goes up.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
interestingly enough, it's this one. You're like, fuck that.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, and for very, very, very good reasons. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Historical point of view.
Christianity was the vehicle and the means with which people have been suppressed for and our sexuality and all these different things have been suppressed for
Yes.
hundreds and even thousands of years, right? But I just think that Christianity was just the newest face of that.
Okay.
Again, harkening back to what we talked about earlier, with not throwing the baby out with the bathwater,
Yeah.
when you start diving into the very, very early foundations of Christianity, so the mystery schools of Christianity, I find it so fascinating and so interesting. And we can't get too deep into it here, of course, but for instance, the Gnostic schools of
Yeah.
Christianity were extremely animist, were extremely feminist, actually in the true sense of the world,
Yeah.
truly, in true sense of the word. truly feminist, truly liberation oriented.
Yeah,
For instance, they had the Gospel of Mary, Mary of Magdalene, not Jesus's mother, but Mary of Magdalene, his lover actually, and she was also his financial backer and stuff like that. At least in this version of the
yeah,
history. While later on, the Catholic Church kind of went like,
exactly.
we can't have Mary
Yeah,
being such an important part of
that's
because
what I
she's
wanted
just
to.
a woman, she's just a whatever, women,
It's always,
whatever.
yeah, there are always been to make the main difference that Catholicism is mainly an institution,
Hmm.
that a religion and or a belief. The base is the Christianity.
No, but again, but even with Catholicism, like you have early church fathers like such as Meister Eckhart and Pseudo Dionysius and so on, who were very, very early church fathers, and they were obviously also like by the other Christians, they were also ousted, right? They were also like criticized,
Yeah,
a lot, for their heretic views. I mean, at least the powers that be deemed that their views were heretic. But that school of religion, that school of spiritual thought, is extremely, extremely interesting. And
yeah,
I've researched a lot and used a lot from especially the Gnostic texts and so on for this rite of passage
yeah,
research because there's so much about that. It's even before you enter into life, that's a rite of passage. When your soul chooses to step into the physical world in order to gain knowledge, in order to get the pearl of wisdom, as it's called. There's a psalm or a hymn called the Hymn to the Pearl, which talks about this.
this,
Very, very interesting. So my hope is also kind of to maybe even soften up some of the contention that there has
yeah.
been, especially in the metal world as well. Like a lot of people define themselves as apart from Christianity.
Yeah,
Like they define
yeah,
themselves as anti-Christian
yeah,
or, you
yeah,
know,
because it's
exactly.
not studies about that, because that you stop on the surface. What is like I said, what is the institution itself, and
Yes.
what the let's say, throughout the history course, what is it written in history book? Let's say that what they teach you in school, you stop with that. They teach you in church, whatever, you stop in that. You
Hmm.
don't see what is behind, what it was before, and
Correct.
the other face of a belief could be any type of. I think any belief is on different faces, but Christian world has always been associated with the Western world, but it doesn't start from here. We know that
No.
it doesn't start from the Western one. It starts from the Jewish one. Even
Yes.
that I mean, Christians are hated all over the world. I mean, because they are known for what they did in history with the Inquisition and the persecution and
Mm,
the colonialism, and
yes.
that's only institutional part. Is not the
Yes.
spiritual side of it.
No.
Even
Correct.
today, I think that in Catholicism and to see like people that practice Catholicism, people that practice any religion, if they have really a deep spirituality, it's pure. It doesn't matter whether it is.
Well, it might not be pure, I would say. I just to correct you a little
Yeah.
bit or to challenge you a little bit on that. I think a lot of people who get very, very deep into spirituality can also go deep into ruts or into patterns that I wouldn't particularly deem as being very helpful. And you see that as well you know, with extremists, right? Like extremists
It's
in
true.
any kind of religion, And
Yeah,
so those people could also be said to have a deep, um, at least connection to their own religion, but I feel that they are focusing on the destructive aspects, rather
that
than
that they might be
the
seen.
open aspects,
Yeah,
because people get bogged down in thinking that, oh, I'm feeling all these great things from Christianity, or I'm feeling all these great things from Islam. I'm feeling this empowerment. Everyone else needs to do is the same, because all the other religions are wrong, right?
because I
That
think
just, I
yeah,
think,
But disconnect, I
That
think, with the
conclusion
side of
I can't.
psychology. Disconnect with the side of psychology. That could be could be just a narcissistic aspect, an obsessive compulsive disorder aspect. So this goes with literally with a more deep rooted psychological aspect. So anyone that has the extremic side, it should be at least, I mean, they never focus, but seen as someone that has not only maybe real faith, but has a problem that came from the psychological side. That's mainly obsessive. You see, because you see mainly in any type of that have a religion that have their own function. You go to the church, you go to every function, you have to do this in order. And there are people that go, okay, when they want, but there are people that go really all the time, and if they skip, it's like OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
that's true. That's something that I see, and I see every time in Italy, especially here in Sicily. All these things, it's like a collective compulsive of the OCD.
Right.
With some people, it's even worse. So it's not only, let's say, fate, but in that case, it's not. It's more deep rooted in a psychological disorder. So there's a double work to do there, like whether it's a belief, whether it's a psychological disorder. So that's and that's why.
I totally agree, and I also wanted to say, even though I just wanted to mention that because just for the record, but otherwise I do understand what you mean and what you meant originally. I understand that, like, at the essence, all religions are more or less the same, which is also why it's so interesting why we can't get along, right? Like, why can't the different people get along? It's fine that you believe that Muhammad spoke to a jinn in the desert. It's fine that you believe that Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree. It's fine. And all these things are fine. We are all motivated by the same thing, and that is to try to figure out what this fucking life is about.
Yeah.
Right? That is what we're trying to figure out. That is what drives us. That is what motivates us. So I think if you had, let's say you had an extreme Christian and you had an extreme Muslim, and you sat them down and you said, you have to talk to each other, you have to argue for why you are a Christian, why you're a Muslim, but you cannot use because scripture said so and so and so on. You have to tell, why did you come to this? Your personal journey. And their journeys will be the same. Even if their conclusions are completely different, their journeys to that point would be the same. I guarantee it, right? So it's just strange that we can't get along. But I don't know. That's how it is, I guess.
That's the world and the mind, because that's when it comes as well, that psychology of each one of us. That's something that we should all do. Like, first, I think a psychological journey as the inner journey itself of healing about everything, and then when we are on a level of being healed by everything, because you can even have a big trauma about something. I hate Christianity for some reason. I don't know. You have first to heal.
Yeah, sure. Many reasons.
Yeah. So everything mainly start from a psychological point of view, because you have to be as well open-minded. Because if you come and sit down at a table with you and talk about, and I'm close-minded, I will never accept your idea. And I say, no, I'm right. You're wrong.
Yes.
I'm right. You're wrong. And that's a narcissistic trait. It's an histrionic trait. So that's why I like the part that you put about Carl Jung about it, because it explores not only the let's say the different spiritual aspect that Nebala has always been rooted also a lot in, but there's as well a psychological part in it, which is the youth.
Definitely.
And that's important, because I think that can open the eyes to the people to dive a little bit in the psychology of the human mind. And it's really important, because mind is so powerful that can connect spirituality and psychology can be one. Because if you can learn about the human mind, you can learn about your inner higher whatever self of you have. I don't know too many. Yes, that's my job.
That is your job. Well, I suppose that's I think that's my self-proclaimed job as well, in some sense. I mean, the funny thing is, like, writing this album, I really want to inspire this because this is what is inspiring me, right? But at the end of the day, once the music is out there, it'll be what it'll be, you know. It'll inspire people in the way that it'll inspire. It might
Yeah,
inspire people in ways that I had never even imagined, you know. And
yeah,
that's the beautiful thing about art, because art is always alive, because it's alive in the ear or eyes of the
yeah, of
beholder, right? In
course.
the interpretation of the
Yeah,
person. So at the end of the day, it will be able to stand alone without any explanations whatsoever. But
yeah,
then if you want to go deeper into what it's actually about and what you feel and this, that, then of course, if it inspires people to read more about the psychology or the mysterious schools
yeah.
of religion and spirituality that's inspired it, then I'll,
Even
just be even more happy, would be
or
great.
even if people are like, okay, because I think a rite of passage is not only about life, like in journey, the entire life and journey, is it just be even about rite of passage in a smaller side, smaller example. I don't know, like even for example, like as a relationship, the classic
Oh,
thing.
yes.
You have
Love.
so
Yes.
many rite of passages in a relationship, so you go throughout the meeting, the first encounter, the first month, the engagement, the wedding, the I don't know, the divorce, the death. There is all these rite of passages, and many people can even feel in that for going throughout the most classical thing is the breakup, or to being inspired more in their own relationship and pay more attention to enjoy those rite of passages in the relationship.
I'll tell you a very, very private and vulnerable story, but it's only you and me, so it's fine, you know.
Not older people around.
Yeah, no, but actually, I went through a very strong rite of passage the first time I fell in love. Fell in love with this beautiful redhead girl who had just moved in next door, in a house next door to where I lived. And I would see her from, over the hedge, and she was, oh, she was so pretty. And I just totally fell in love with her straight away. And then I went and I asked my mom, "Oh my God, I really think this girl, she's cute." She's like, "Go and knock on the door. Go say
Yeah.
hi. And neighbors, you should go say hi." And so I did, and we started talking, and she was lovely, and we would listen to music together in her room, and I was just completely mesmerized. And then this one time, she, like a few weeks after or something, she I had sent a letter to her, like declaring my love for her and saying that I wanted to be her boyfriend. And then she sent a letter back, said, "Meet me here and here, and we'll talk about it." And so I met her there, and then she said, "Okay, walk with me for a while." And then I walked with her, and I talked with her, and I was like, and I was waiting for her to say something about the letter, but she didn't say anything about it. And then all of a sudden she said, "Okay, we're here now. Now put this on." And she blindfolded me, and got super excited. I thought she was gonna lead me to some beautiful place, and maybe we were gonna kiss or something, like that was in my head. But what happened was that she had a friend who was a year or two older that had hit puberty. So you know what happens, like with
Yeah.
girls that hit puberty earlier, they become really big and the
Yeah.
guys are small, right? And this girl grabbed me from the behind, and they tied my hands as well. They took my pants down and like laughed at me
That's
and
not,
like really, really humiliated me. Really
was not
humiliated me.
nice
That was really not nice. She totally took advantage of the power that she had over me,
because you,
uh,
yeah.
because I was, she could see that I was completely head over heels. And so at some point I managed to get free. I think I was probably crying. I was probably,
Yeah, it was,
I wasn't crying. No, I was totally crying. And then they finally kind of, I suppose, had felt pity or had mercy on me and let me go. And I ran away. And it was quite some time before I dared
to
enter into that again,
was
and it took a lot for me to get back and to open up to that again. So I suppose that was a kind of rite of passage.
yeah.
And then the next time I met someone who I completely fell in love with, she was exactly the opposite, and she was, she fell in love with me as well, and it was beautiful. And I had that first proper feeling of young love. But it was interesting that I had to go through that. I had to go through that complete an utter destruction of my illusion, you know?
Because sometimes
An important lesson, you know, it's an important lesson. It's like you cannot be that gullible. You have to like not just
let,
lose your mind. You actually have to retain some of yourself. It reminds me of that old story of Ovid, you know, Ovid's Fables.
no,
It's an Italian poet. You should know him.
a video.
Ovidio. Yeah, of course. Which is about a character that gives away her whole heart or his whole heart. I can't remember if it's a boy or a girl. Um, and then ends up heartless because this person that they give their heart to doesn't take care of it and throws it away. And
Yeah,
so the moral of the story is that you only give away half your heart. You have to find someone who fits your other part, right? You
exactly.
can't just give away your whole heart because that's what I did. I gave away my whole got punished for it, you know? Absolutely.
And it was
Uh,
that was
yeah.
the part what was a part of a big important part, rite of passage, we can say, because it's not only about going through, just enjoying it, like focusing on the phases of life. A rite of passage could be even a difficult moment that teach you to appreciate that moment, which is a negative moment, positive moment,
Hmm.
especially if it's negative, and learn a lesson, or just even cherishing that moment. Because it doesn't matter if it's a positive or not. There's always going to be something to cherish about. Because when you
Totally.
were telling about it, you had a kind now like a kind of a smile, like remembering. But
Hmm.
back at the time was, I think, traumatizing. But now it's like
Oh yeah.
because you learn and you saw, and now it's like looking at the back with the warmth. And
I
that's
mean, it's
yeah,
if nothing else, it taught me that you know, women might be beautiful and enticing and all that, but they can also be bitches sometimes, you know?
so what I should say, sometimes when I start to like play with our own feelings, and you have other part here. Sometimes men go so super fast with their feelings, like the love
Oh
bomb
yeah.
thing, like boom, and then after a couple of, oh, I don't know who I am. What? Okay. So that's, but you learn a lesson, because once
You learn a lesson.
one person once told me, if the other person is running too much, instead of you let yourself run with him, just be the one that slow down. That's what
Hmm.
happened to me. I have to slow down to be the one to slow down. And I learned from the experience that in the future I had to slow down. And
Hmm.
because everything is at the right time, at
Yes.
least personally the right time.
Yeah.
But you have to go to experiences that maybe are not the best. And that was a rite of passage too, because maybe for me was feeling confused, losing a little bit myself. But then
Hmm.
you go back in another passage, which is finding yourself again with maybe new perspective. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's a journey about life, if it's a journey about a situation, a journey about something. All this new concept of idea of album that you're releasing is applied for everything, even
Hmm.
for a walk in the woods, for example.
Yes.
Every
Correct.
moment, driving in the car, driving the car. I don't want to say a session at the gym, but even why not? I listen your music
Yes.
at the gym.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah, the live show though, the live version. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Awesome.
So let's say that in overall you are also blended in a beautiful way, coming back to the spirituality, this different type of spirituality. So how you were able to blend it all, like in one only album? It is not easy. I mean, the different, like you said, they have the main, maybe the core is the main of each belief, but they are a different shape.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't think I will say too much about that, to be honest. I think people should listen to that and
Okay,
figure
to
out for
figure
themselves.
themselves. Okay, okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It will make sense, though. I can say
Yeah,
that. It will make sense.
okay.
And I think also because as all religion and spiritual systems do deal with these different things, do deal with falling in love, do deal with
Yeah.
childhood, or they deal with all these different cardinal points that And it's not just religious and spiritual things that inform this album. It's also folk tales and philosophy
Yeah.
and so on. So there's also
Mythology.
that in there. So I'm using all these different elements to illustrate the different cardinal points, right? So the idea is to and then I don't think I can say more. The idea is that the whole album will be a journey through a life,
Okay.
through one life.
Okay.
And somehow it will make sense even with all the different
Okay. Kind of unified.
religious,
Yeah.
spiritual, and philosophical and folklore ideas and so on and
A
so
unique
forth.
journey, a life journey that unify that all, and
Yes.
blend all
And
together.
to show that, we're all human. We all go
Yeah.
through exactly the same,
Yeah.
even if it's um
Dif- the,
different circumstances and
yeah.
so
Of
on,
course.
different parts of the world. We
Yeah.
all get born, we all experience childhood, we all experience falling in love, we all experience, I mean, most of us experience becoming parents as well. We all experience getting old, and then, of course, ultimately, we all die.
Yeah. That there's no
So,
escape yet until that. Yeah. Until now.
not yet.
No,
Not yet.
we don't know in the future, but to be honest, I would prefer to be the normal.
I don't think we will,
Yeah.
because even if we figured out a way of living forever, at some point the universe is going to
Yeah.
experience heat
There is
death, and our atoms will also be,
not
stretched
that.
to nothingness. So
Just to quote a band, Nothing Lasts Forever, not even Ruben
exactly,
Came. I don't like them, but
and
came to my quote in my mind. Yes, but of course, like
and
yeah,
nothing is coming for all of us.
yeah, we're making, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Let's start with the quote, but as well like the sound and the in this album there is gonna, because of course with Gil being such a various instrumentalist, the sound and the sonority of this new album, how much will be
Mhm.
different respect the first Nebala album?
Very different.
Okay, because I learned,
Very different.
yeah,
You will, I think very different. Even if but you're gonna definitely feel that this is Nebala. I
yeah,
mean, you're not gonna feel like, okay, this is a completely different
different
band or a different
project.
thing. But sonically, it's gonna be much broader,
Okay,
much bigger, much bigger than the first one.
so
Because we had no restrictions on what kind of instruments we wanted to use, no restrictions what
there's
at all. I
yeah,
didn't put any restrictions. Like last time, there were a few restrictions. Like I really wanted it to be as
yeah.
much as possible ancient instruments and so on. But now we're also using contemporary instruments. We're even using a plastic ukulele at some point because
Okay.
it made sense.
Yeah, because like you said, the first album was more like towards one particular topic.
Expression and
Yeah,
yeah.
and then as well was going maybe for the instrumental part as well, for the sound wise part. But now this is more wide open project, wide open album, as
Yep.
well, I think the sonority. So you blended not only the topic, but you blended as well the all of you blended the sound wise, the
Yep.
instrument. So we will hear different. We can hear, because I work in even Western Africa, that is not in
Hmm.
not commonly listened to in the, especially because of course people knows Nebala mainly, let's say, for the folk northern music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But there as well a big component I don't know as well for as well the Eastern folk music. So
Yes.
there is gonna be as well all of these blended together. That's the beauty, and I want to always to let the people understand that folk music is not only northern music; it's all over the world.
Yes. Exactly.
Unfortunately, they put the label on the northern music, but it's
Mm.
wide open. When there is a from, because especially you, like you traveled a lot. You've been, I remember, in the Himalayas a lot of times, so you have all
Yes.
this on you already by yourself. If
Definitely.
with other
Definitely.
musicians, we can have more, let's say. So, and I hope they can bring more people to listen Nebala, not only people that are already listening in Nebala, but even from other, you know,
Parts of the world, and
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So at least what can I say? What we can, I mean, people have some, at least now, still 7 days to do the
To
Kickstarter.
support the Kickstarter,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. 6
Kickstarter.
days.
You're gonna think about some video clip to release after the album is out? Do you think about it?
Music videos, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are also in the pipeline. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So
of
also
course.
is
Yeah.
included. Of course. Okay. So what
So
can
so I can just to say
yeah.
really quickly because I haven't spent much time on that. So what people are supporting when they're supporting the Kickstarter is of course the time in the studio here and so on, but it's also a lot of the stuff that comes afterwards. It's the production, because since
Okay.
I'm not on a label anymore, I have to pay for my own production,
Yeah.
music video, promotion material, print of the CDs, vinyls, t-shirts, merch, all the different stuff. So
Yeah.
it's all that. It's all the stuff that's going to support bringing this music out into the world. That's what people are supporting.
Because it's being
Want
this
to be concrete.
because you're independent. So if there is gonna be a music video, there's gonna be a sorry a vinyl edition, whatsoever, it's gonna be coming from this support. But I think
Yes.
as well afterwards that is gonna be out, the support has to continue because
Yes.
band music lives throughout the album, and the support of the music, the people that listen to the music, like supporting the merch, coming to the live, having the album. This is important also to remember because this is of course mainly to remember to help with the Kickstarter, but after
Mhm.
because always being on the social media present this interview, so after to keep on supporting, because if we're gonna have to see, I don't know, see you a third album, maybe they are gonna be a soft skin, who knows, maybe they're gonna
Yeah,
buy the new merch, maybe they're gonna buy the album. So it's always because this is especially
exactly.
independent, this is how it work. Unfortunately nothing comes easier being independent, but it's
No,
admirable, and it's not easy being independent. So because now
not easy being independent, but there's also a lot of power and potential that is in that. I have complete freedom to do this the way I want to do it, which is great as well.
yeah, because
There's a bigger responsibility and bigger power, but also more vulnerability, of course, at the same time. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, but I think it's gonna be good. I mean, because it's still it's your project, it's you, mainly it's
Mhm.
or is yours.
Yeah,
You share it with everyone, and the
yeah,
fact that you allow everyone, because you can say it's me, I decide what I want to do, how I want to do, who I want to be. You're instead opening to everyone, that whether they are being playing with you, whether they are being in a Kickstarter, maybe whether they're gonna be in a music video, you're on a live show, you open the door of yourself. So basically that's why being vulnerable.
yeah.
So I make a promotional clip.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to Jonas home. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So what can I say? I mean, I don't know if it is gonna see you some live this year. It's like a 2021 probably. They're still planning. So
Yeah, yeah. Jesus, Ada.
we're getting
We need to see Mika's blood this year. Come on.
yeah. I had this.
Next year.
I
Yeah.
have the yeah 2025 still the hotel every time I book every year I book the same hotel every
Yeah.
year. Yeah, and then this time I took the one in no, not in Tonsberg, but the one close to Borre.
Right.
When there's the first shuttle stop.
So I will say one thing. I think this is the third time we're talking about Mika's blood. And they do say third time is the charm, right? So I think this time's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen.
I'm not planning nothing. Last summer, I planned to go in different festival and different live show, and that stopped me, of course, to go to Midgårdsblad because it was expensive, going 3 times back and forth. But now I'm not going nothing, no nowhere, except maybe Tuska in Finland. But I'm mainly focused on being Midgårdsblad, not be for the band, just to enjoy the experience of being.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, only
It
for
just
yeah.
doesn't matter who comes and plays.
No, just
It's
to
the
meet
vibe and the
people.
people.
Yeah, I said that in every interview. To meet you, I have to meet Shelly, to meet Runa Hild. I don't know if there's gonna be Kati, Iran, too many people. Pleasure seeing you, Jonas. And I
You
will
too, Ada.
all of these, whatever we said or not, because if you remember, once we even spoke about mushrooms. So without any. So we wish you a good recording day. Is a recording day, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Recording day.
Excellent.
Greetings to Gilly and Christopher. And see you
Absolutely, I
this
will pass it on.
summer. Let's manifest. See you this summer. And oh no, wait, for the birthday, like we have to make happy birthday.
Oh yeah, yes,
I
yes.
think you, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Bye, Jonas. Love you.
Okay,
Bye. Bye.
bye.
Bye.